All right, so if you didn't know, we have a competition here on the channel of who has the absolute most beautiful, best money in all of Europe. We've done Swiss francs, we've done the euro, and now we're on to Dutch money. I have no idea where Dutch money is going to land on the scale, but we are going to declare a winner. That winner will become the new Federal Reserve currency of the entire world, in my mind. All right, let's hop in. Let's check it out. Genius design of Dutch money. All right, smash the like button. Let's dive in.
This is the gulden. It was the Dutch currency for hundreds of years. Then it disappeared.
Vanaf 2002 gaan we immers allemaal betalen met de euro.
This was a shame. Not the euro, but the death of the design. Its colors outdid every dollar. Its lighthouse stood above all buildings, and its portraits really cool. Embarrassed the queen. Some say even killed her. The gulden changed the face of cash forever. I believe it's the best paper money ever made. But why? Why was Dutch money so different? Why does it look so strange?
It does look weird.
Nog steeds hoor, als ik mijn biljet
Wait, did I hear that right though? It's like gone completely. The Dutch just use euros.
zie, dan vind ik dat hele leuke biljetten, ja.
Ootje Oxenaar was different. He designed government-issued stamps with dramatic, playful colors.
Those are cool.
In the 60s, he made the Erflaters, a series of 5 portrait banknotes, from the Vondel, a writer, Hals, a painter, Zweelinck, a composer, De Ruyter, a naval commander, and of course, Spinoza. Together, they all look kind of odd. Oxenaar's faces look more like they belong in a comic than on a banknote.
Dutch notes are very
Yeah, they kind of do look comic booky. Let me go back. I couldn't quite put like my finger on it, what they looked like, but yeah, I kind of see it now. That's crazy.
Together, they all look kind of odd. Oxenaar's faces look more like they belong in a comic.
Like that one right there, for sure. This totally looks like it should be like in a comic. I wonder what it is about it that looks so like that. That's nuts.
Than on a banknote.
Dutch notes are very distinctive. They are unlike any other central bank's notes that I'm aware of. Visually very striking. I can imagine that not everybody likes them.
When you think of money, you think of value. A medium for you to exchange one thing for another. But money is also branding. There are millions of tiny billboards spread across an entire country. It's a place where a nation shows what it stands for, a canvas to display national heroes and icons. So why do Oxenaars feel like he's making a joke?
The notes had to have portraits on them of famous historical figures which would not create any political problems.
Portraits are the most used images on currency, and they can be a bit touchy. For some, a nation is nothing more than the sum of its people. We use portraits to hold some up as lessons and inspiration. For others, though, portraits can lift up people whose value system is out of date, maybe even threatening. Statues, intentional or not, can be monuments to colonizers, slave owners, and authoritarians. Maybe the same could be said of the faces we put on currency. Should Andrew Jackson, a president and also slave owner, be replaced by Harriet Tubman, a slave emancipator? Should we avoid figures?
Obviously, I'm going to have
be replaced by Harriet
comment
Tubman, a slave emancipator.
I really wish they would have done this. I think that they could have kept like the Andrew Jackson one and also done the Harriet Tubman, and that would have been really cool. I don't know what happened. They were like, they made a huge announcement that they were changing Andrew Jackson off of our money and putting Harriet Tubman on it, which I thought was really cool. It just kind of like disappeared. I don't know where that went. Oh, you know what? I think I heard that Trump kind of put a X-nay on that and like stopped it. Was it him or was it Biden? I can't remember.
Emancipator. Should we avoid figures entirely? The genius of Oxenaar's designs is that it didn't matter. He neither avoided people entirely or kept them. He caricatured them. This is George Washington. Fuck yeah, president. And this is Michiel de Ruyter. Okay.
What?
If you live in a country whose banknotes scream, "Take me seriously," keeping or removing a portrait will always be a controversy. If you have banknotes that play the fool, well, then there's not much of a throne to fight over. The Erflaters changed portrait currency, but it's Oxenaar's second series that turned it on its head. He was asked to replace the 100 gulden and add a 50 and 250 banknote. For the 100, He replaces the naval commander, not with someone else, but with a bird. This was crazy. A snipe doesn't have ties to citizenship. It's a bird found in marshy land that happens to be in the Netherlands, but it is by no means the Netherlands. For hundreds of years, money was intimately tied to the faces of rulers, earth-changing scientists, and artists. Oxenaar played a joke on them all. He made the 100 gulden the first banknote in the Western world to no longer be a portrait, just a bird. With the 50 gulden banknote, he changed it up again. He proposes a sunflower, another object with no clear ties to a nation, but still an indirect homage to Van Gogh.
The glue had made the bee fall off from the top onto the flower, as though it flew there.
The 50 mark is horizontal. Some of its text is vertical. This tempts the owner to turn the bill around.
Oh, shoot. I didn't even realize that. They're trying to go vertical too, or they did at one point. Still by far the coolest way to do money. Vertical, I think that's so awesome.
You hand the cashier not money, but a flower. Finally, there's the lighthouse, Oxenaar's last and probably most beautiful banknote.
Zie je in
That's
het
pretty
bankbiljet dat er hele kleine lettertjes verwerkt zijn. Bijvoorbeeld in de naam van alle kustplaatsen waar vuurtorens staan.
Hello? Where am I?
Why, hello there. You're in a Squarespace ad.
What is this? Who are you?
Squarespace is the best web.
They got me. That was pretty good.
Gotcha, bitch!
All right. Hey, guys, I'm sure he has a link down in the description of this video. Maybe it's at the end here. Check out Squarespace. They're cool. Let's give out his advertiser a shout out.
Oxenaar wanted to make currency that symbolized the Netherlands without being a cliché.
No windmills, clogs, cows, or tulips.
Instead of projecting what the Dutch are loudly, Oxenaar intentionally chose symbols that were a bit more normal. He then took it a step further by converting these symbols into security features. Banknotes need to be secured against forgery. That's why banks will issue paper money with watermarks, so the bills are harder to copy. Oxenaar also designed watermarks, but they were different. Instead of heads or angels, Oxenaar chose animals. For the 100, the watermark is the head of a snipe. On the flower, it's a bee. And on the lighthouse, a dune rabbit.
Als je nou wilt nagaan of een bankbiljet van 250 echt is of niet, wat kun je dan het beste doen? Nou, dan neem je het bankbiljet, je houdt het tegen het licht en dan zie je verschijnen een watermerk. Een schaduwwatermerk. Waarom? Omdat er lichte en donkere plekjes in zitten. Lichter en donkerder dan de rest van het papier.
You can look through the note and you see a watermark that is a rabbit. It was a rabbit belonging to my girlfriend. Everybody has to walk around with my rabbit in their pocket. I like that.
Kijk je eens langs het biljet en dan zie je een vogeltje zitten, een schoolekster. Dat is een plaatje wat eigenlijk bestaat uit tweeën. De voorkant is de helft en de achterkant is ook de helft van die schoolekster. En als je dat nou tegen het licht houdt, dan wordt het één compleet plaatje.
Whoa.
On the 10 gulden bill and on the Spinoza are fingerprints.
I put something personal into this, my fingerprint in the hair of one of the world's most important philosophers, Spinoza. Very unholy of me, not very nice.
The smudge of a finger is so sloppy that no serious artist would dare to include it.
Where are we going with this? Why is he, he put his fingerprint in the money? What the heck? I feel like we're going to have some kind of, big reveal here.
Oxenaar did it anyway.
I could be wrong.
By the time that the Dutch National Bank realized what they were, it was too late. A joke in the pockets of an entire population.
That is the nice part of making banknotes. You can make monuments by the millions.
He did the same for the lighthouse. In the beacon, he hid 3 women's names: his granddaughter, girlfriend, and friend. The engraver had included these names, also completely unknown to the Dutch National Bank. The combination of security features and Oxenaar's personal humor was a reoccurring theme.
The smallest lettering that you see in that white square, well, this is meant so that when you are sitting somewhere in a private place like the toilet or somewhere like that, you have something to read.
Another counterfeiting technique is microprinting. Banks will put tiny design-printed features onto a banknote. This makes it difficult for counterfeiters to reprint it accurately with a standard photocopying machine. This can be done by printing small lines of text, but that's kind of boring. It's a security feature that's just kind of slapped on to the design.
The artist comes along, hands over his sketches, his ideas, and then they tell him, the design had to be changed. That's our job. We are responsible for security.
Het is natuurlijk altijd voor elk technisch bedrijf een uitdaging om de wensen en de ideeën, de gedachten dus, van de ontwerper te kunnen verwezenlijken.
It's one way of doing it, treating a banknote design and its security feature as separate jobs. But there is also another way. You make the security features an integral part of the design.
I said I have to have unrestricted access to every detail, to every technique, to every secret. Otherwise, I cannot make a good design. I must know what the techniques are. The bank accepted this.
You can add a bunch of small thin lines because it makes the banknote secure. Or you can add a bunch of small thin lines because it's necessary for it to look good.
Het uitgangspunt bij het ontwerpen van de Nederlandse bankbiljetten is tweeledig eigenlijk. Dat het goed te produceren en ook goed te beveiligen moest zijn en daarnaast een goed gebruiksartikel. En dat is ook de reden waarom die biljetten er eigenlijk anders uitzien dan bijna alle andere biljetten in de wereld. Het is niet zomaar een optelsom van die factoren, maar het is een gevolg van een ontwerpconcept.
For the 100, 250, and 50 gulden, each had their own simple primitive in the background, where you could find hundreds of micro lines changing and adjusting to different areas in the grid.
Yeah, there are a
Were
ton
these
in
necessary for the design or for the security? The beauty is that you can't tell.
Voor alle bankbiljetten, dus niet alleen voor de 250, geldt nog een vierde echtheidskenmerk en dat is de plaatdruktechniek. Dat kun je namelijk voelen met je vingertoppen. Als je langzaam over het biljet strijkt met je vingertop, dan voel je daarin dikke en grove lijnen. Dat zijn dikke inktlijntjes die erop gebracht zijn door het toepassen van een speciale druktechniek.
Put so much damn thought into making money. I wonder, did he say if he was the first one to add the engraving like that? Is that why like the design of Dutch money is so genius? Is this the guy that created it and then he just made a bunch of jokes by putting in crazy stuff into the money?
Very elementary colors because it was a small series of only 5 values.
Instead of single colors or muted ones, Oxenaar fought for vibrant reds, blues, yellows, and greens.
When I made my first banknote, the printers maintained that more color was an impossibility. They said, when you use a green, it must be very dark and blackish green, otherwise it's not safe. I discovered that this was not true. I just had to keep on asking and asking.
Oxenaar's banknotes did not only stand out next to single-colored banknotes, but they also stood out among the colored ones. It's almost as though Oxenaar's banknotes were like monopoly money, which is, well, exactly what they were.
The only money I had seen which was as clear as I wanted money to be was monopoly money. That was nice money in my eyes.
No shit.
I hope that my own work looks a little bit like that.
You don't need to look at the number on monopoly money to recognize its value.
Yeah.
The design is clear, the layout standardized, and the typography loud. With the gulden, it was the same. At a moment's notice, the faintest glimpse, you could identify exactly which banknote it was. The specific colors that were chosen were almost nearly perfect. The primary colors blue, red, and yellow are the most visually clear for the human eye. Oxenaar believed the notes which were used the most should also reflect that. When the value of the money was higher, only then would you find the secondary colors, a dignified green or a royal violet. If your color...
No, that violet one, that violet lighthouse, that 250 looks
colors,
so cool.
A dignified green or a royal violet. If you're colorblind, you're probably not getting this video, but you could also still determine the gulden's value from large legible letters.
The objective was to use very clear typography so that when you folded up the note, you could see what the value of the banknote was at least 4 times.
Oxenaar's designs were influential. For the euro, they didn't consider using separate colors until the Dutch National Bank submitted a proposal based on his designs. He changed the rules for what a banknote could and should look like.
Iets is dat diep in Nederlanders aanspreekt. Als je vlak bij de kust woont, dan is dit zo'n markeringspunt en een beveiligingspunt tussen water en land. Ik denk dat het een heel mooi symbool is. En heel herkenbaar voor Nederlanders, zo levende achter de dijk.
Oh shoot, that's it. Oh my gosh, that was freaking crazy, fascinating. I mean, it wasn't necessarily all about like just the design, like having the coolest design. It was just like the innovation that he made into money. Amazing video. Dutch money really is pretty genius. All right, with that, I'll go ahead and head out of here. Appreciate you guys watching. I will see you in the next video. Peace.